Hi, everybody. I'm Colleen Frangos, Rocket IT's Community Relationship Coordinator, and here again on another great episode of Thrive Gwinnett. So, as many of you have or have not tuned in, Thrive Gwinnett is a great community-focused video series that Rocket IT is throwing out there just to kind of get an opportunity to chat with some really cool people who are doing amazing things in our community, despite this ridiculous year that is 2020. And today I get to chat with a really amazing new friend of mine, Dr. Colette Grodzicki. She is and it's a doozy, so bear with me, guys. It's a longer title than my own. She is the Partnership and Internship Program Coordinator at the Gwinnett School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology. Ta-da! Colette, did I get it right?
You got it right. That's impressive.
Yes.
It's a lot.
It is. Well, and of course, I've got a few, I've got my cheat sheet, and I'm trying not to lean on it, so I tried. But thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So I recently met Colette just through a few engagement opportunities, but Rocket IT has been able to partner with GSMST in the past with their partnership program. And we've been able to be a site where students have come in just to meet our staff, learn our business, what we do, all different facets of it. And I know it's more than just that. So Colette, will you please tell us just a little bit about the partnership program?
Absolutely. So GSMST has a really long-standing tradition of partnering with businesses and different professionals around the county and around the Metro Atlanta area, which started when the school started way back in 2007, 6, 7. And what I do, there's actually 3 people in my office that are dedicated to this because it is a key component of our school and a cornerstone of what we stand for and believe in, which is providing students an articulated plan of college and career readiness. Mm-hmm. So we have programs that we present to 9th grade students, 10th grade students, 11th grade students, and 12th grade students in order to get them ready sort of for that next step after they leave high school so that they have a better idea of what they might want to potentially do as a career, and therefore they have a better idea of what they need to do to get to that career. So our programming exposes students to professionals. We also do site visits where we literally load every sophomore onto buses and we send them to a college visit in the fall and a professional visit in the spring to a community business that is in the STEM field. And then their junior and senior years, they have a graduation requirement to complete an internship experience. And those look a little bit differently depending on what the student interest is. We sort of meet them where they are. It's not a one size fits all. It's very, very centered on what's best for the student to expose them to what they need to make their next choices as they sort of head to adulthood.
I love it. It's such a special program, and these students, I know they appreciate it, and I know they know how lucky they are to be able to have these opportunities that otherwise may not, have access to, like you said. So it's really cool exposure. And this year, I was really excited because for Rocket IT, we haven't been able. We had to cancel our summer internship program, and we're not doing one this fall. But you had a genius idea of ways that we can still partner with GSMST and help the students still with a research project instead of a traditional internship. So tell us more about these other opportunities, how you and your folks have been able to pivot a little and say, hey, we can still find ways to keep our businesses engaged, to help our students still be able to meet their requirements. So what does that look like this year for you guys?
So to be really honest, our pivoting really is centered around the fact that this is a graduation requirement. They can't exempt it. They can't sort of wiggle around it. So we've had to, make it work and kind of do what we can to make it work. But the best part about this is that they're still getting a really authentic experience in their internships, because guess what everyone else is also doing? Virtual work, work from home,
Yes.
Zoom meetings, all of those things. That is what the business world looks like right now, in all facets. And so we've been able to still create authentic experiences for our students. So I love that you mentioned the one that we created for a student with you all. You know, he just really had a dedicated interest in computer science field. And so we can't get him into an office. Most computer science professionals are working off-site, or they're on an office rotation where they're in some days and they're not in other days. So there's not too many people around. And so that became a research project. We said, okay, why don't we pair you up with a professional, and you can do a research project that is based in the reality of the computer science field that is of interest to you. And you really get some one-on-one time with someone who's doing now what you want to do in the future. So that's one of the things we've done. And we've done that for a couple different students in different spaces. We do still have some face-to-face internships that are happening as students are comfortable. And if it's appropriate for that field to be a face-to-face internship, we absolutely allow that, because there's not a stay-at-home order. There's you know, so if you're comfortable and if they're comfortable,
go for it.
Knock yourself out. So those still exist, but there are fewer of them, especially in the medical field. So we saw that there was a need in the medical field, and we ended up bringing in a board certified pediatrician who does, we call it the Med Academy. And he is doing Zoom sessions Monday through Thursday. And then on Fridays, the students in the Med Academy come in and they actually practice what they discussed through the week. So there's basically a theme for the week. Like one week they were learning how to use stethoscopes. So they talked about it. They talked about the importance of that, and blood pressure and heart rate and breathing and listening to lungs and all that stuff. And then on Friday, they all came in and they practiced using stethoscopes, masks, gloves, all the things very COVID-19 appropriate.
Check the boxes.
But we can't get them into medical facilities for obvious reasons, because of the risk. But if you want to be a doctor, we don't want you to not have an opportunity to explore that.
Yeah.
And so they're sort of getting some real training. They're going to get to watch a surgery, a heart surgery.
Oh, that's exciting.
Which is super fun. And they're going to be able to ask questions. So we pivoted to options like that.
Yeah.
We also have lots of virtual opportunities. We've got lots of students who are building websites for small businesses, who are learning social media marketing and how to manage social media accounts, especially with small businesses nowadays. That's how they're making their money to stay afloat.
Absolutely.
There's also been a large increase in tutoring companies that are doing virtual options, because so many kids are at home.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but if my child asks me about calculus, I cannot help them. So.
Oh no.
Right?
No,
that's outside of my wheelhouse.
Yep.
And so there's been a lot of tutoring companies. And so we do have some students who are working sort of in a STEM education capacity, and they're doing that.
I love it.
But we also have on-campus options that we've tried to offer. And so the pivot is interesting, because we're still working with lots of businesses.
That's so good.
But in a myriad of different ways.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm glad to see there's still that engagement. I think that's huge. So that's makes me happy. So what also makes me happy is just the dedication that the faculty and staff have through this year. I have two little kiddos myself that are in the elementary level, but I see the heroics that these teachers and how they're still helping their students thrive, and how as a team of teachers and working more closely together even, it's such a weird time, but I really feel like people are still thriving. So how's that been for your staff and faculty over there?
So I love what you said about the faculty coming together, because there really has been so much more collegial support on all
Mhm.
ends, even down to instructional planning. We have teachers who are working together to help each other give the best instruction to their students, both virtually and face to face.
Mhm.
We have teachers who are hopping on Zoom calls with another teacher to offer backup support and like run the chat room.
That's awesome.
So we're definitely feeling a sense of collective efficacy and like we're
Mhm.
all in this together, and really it's about having grace for ourselves and grace
Oh,
and
yes.
compassion for our students, and just
I
doing the best
agree.
we can. And there's a lot of different ways that teachers are sort of dealing with all of this.
Yeah.
Instructionally, we are seeing a lot more professional development on how to use virtual tools
Yes.
to meet students online. We're getting a lot more enrichment as far as the trainings. So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, you know that this tool exists. Let's now dive a little deeper.
Right.
Because the students at GSMST, we only have about 16% of our student population that are enrolled in face to face. So
Okay.
most of our classes are pretty virtual.
Wow.
And so for every class, there's sort of a virtual instruction piece. And
Mhm.
so sort of learning to use that as best we can is a vital
Oh,
to our
yeah.
success and our student success.
Absolutely.
Our teachers are also really working on fast feedback
Okay.
and focused feedback. So
Mhm.
different students need different things, and we're sort of trying to differentiate instruction and give more focused feedback for the concepts that are really, really like key components.
Yeah.
And then our differentiation comes with understanding how to apply those concepts. Like, okay, you
Mhm.
get in this level. Now, where do we go?
Right.
We've also had to completely shift how we do assessments. So,
Yes.
so I mean, I don't know about you all, but if I'm a student and I'm working from home and I'm taking a test and I'm 15 and I'm terrified of getting a failing grade and I've got my book and my notes sitting next to me, that is a temptation that is really
Ooh-wee. Really
hard.
real.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and that's just the reality of it, right? It's not
Yeah.
that they are trying to not live with integrity, but it's the reality of the situation. And so we've had to be creative about how we're doing tests. So
Yeah.
it's not a lot of fact-based questions anymore. It's more
Mhm.
thinking questions. So it's like, okay, we learned this. Now let's apply this knowledge.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah,
we've had
that's
to
so true.
adjust assessments. We've had to do
You're
more
right.
written assessments where you're explaining.
Mhm.
It's not just a, regurgitation of facts
Right.
and figures. It's
Yeah.
more
Show me
application,
how, and yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's so
problems
true.
and things like that. But the thing that I want to reiterate that is the most impactful piece of what I see teachers doing outside of
Mhm.
those teacher pedagogical things, the relationship building between these teachers and these students is unreal. I'm seeing
Aw.
more one-on-one conferences. I'm seeing more monitoring of progress and more communication with parents.
Wow.
I'm seeing more focus on student wellness, giving them coping skills, giving them life hacks, like
Mhm.
you need to get up between every Zoom
Mhm.
class. Like if you're at school, obviously you're transitioning to a different classroom, but if you're at
Right.
home, you need to get up, you need to eat breakfast
Yeah.
or eat something, like do something. Don't just like
Right.
roll out of bed and like
Yeah.
open your laptop or sit in bed with your laptop. So they're learning soft skills that they would
Mhm.
never have had access to. They're learning to be more self-efficacious and more responsible for themselves.
Yeah.
Things that these kids maybe haven't been forced to do before because someone woke them up, someone made
Mhm.
them breakfast, someone took them to school, whether it was the bus or a parent. They got to school, they were told where to go, they were told where to
Yeah.
sit, they were told
It was
how to
all
walk.
orchestrated. Yeah. Yeah.
And now a lot of them are, especially our high schoolers, are home by themselves and they
Mhm.
have to.
Yeah. Got to be a little
And
bit of a
so
grown up.
teaching teaching those life skills and building those relationships has been really, really interesting to watch.
Definitely. Wow. Well, Colette, we could go on and on and on.
Yes.
I know us, but this has been awesome. I feel like we got a little insight. I feel like we got a chance to talk about the program, how things have been going for the students, how things are going for the faculty and staff. And I really appreciate what you're doing over there. And you're just so dynamic, I think, in your role. And I really am excited to hear how well things are going and that the community is still very much so engaged. So I'll make sure we put a link to the website so that way anybody who's listening can learn more about the opportunities to get involved with the school and reach out to you directly. So Colette, thank you again for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And to everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for another great episode of Thrive Gwinnett. And until next time, have a great day. Thanks. Bye.